emphasize like the classic interpretation of a foie gras dish and how we can make it modern. Okay, so I think the terrine is the very easiest way to do it. Using, I won't say molecular, but it's modern technique. And I would like to emphasize that you must have the basics very strong, and then you can embark to like a modernist cuisine. Alright, so here I have a ready-made classic foie gras terrine, which I'm going to show you. Okay, in like mostly French or European restaurants, how they serve it. You know, foie gras is you have to pair it with either with fruits, very classically, with pear, with cherries, with apple. Okay, it's a very classic combination. So you need a little bit of sweetness and acidity, all right, to counter the richness of the foie gras. So here we're going to do it. We're going to pair it with cherry. We have here in the recipes liver, foie gras liver, and chicken liver. All right, I'm using half chicken liver because to actually to cut down the richness a little bit. All right. So here you have foie gras and chicken liver, some pink salt. Okay. Pink salt is actually it's normal salt, but it will just give a nice color to the terrine. It will look pinkish a little bit. All right, and then you have egg yolks. Whole egg. Butter. All right, doing a terrine, a very classic way of doing terrine is the important thing is the temperature. Okay, everything has to be at the blood temperature, or I would say about 38 to almost 39 or 40. All right, so everything has to be emulsified at the same temperature, right? And then you have a nice, smooth foie gras. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put all this mixture, the butter, all right, the liver, and the egg, all right? This is going to cook for 20 minutes, all right? We're going to bring the temperature, the core temperature, to almost 38 to 39 degrees, all right? So while that's cooking, here in a small pot, in a terrine, okay, you have port wine, shallots, rosemary, thyme, bay leaf, white pot, and Madeira, and brandy. So this is the flavor, the sweetness. Okay, we took the cherries out. Okay, we pound them to release all the flavor, and then we're gonna juice some of the cherries also. So you have cherries, you start with juice it. And then some we're going to blend it. You have the juice. The juice. Alright, so what we do is with the seeds pounded, okay, we put them inside and keep them in the bag, vacuum them. Okay, and you keep them in the chiller for 2 days or 1 day minimum. Alright. So the flavor of the seeds, or the flavor of the cherry, the oil and everything, you know, enhances the juice. Next thing, we're going to blend the whole cherry with the dried cherry. Okay, so it's pureed, so you will strain it. Always strain your produce. So after the second day, you're going to mix the water, the juice, and the puree together. This is what we have here. Alright, so it's all cherry, it's all the cherry flavors. Okay, nothing artificial. Because I did once before in a restaurant, and we had a chef from Europe, and they tell me, why you juice all the cherries? It's so wasting. I mean, it's so wasteful, right? But I said, why not? I mean, you don't throw away anything. You know, it's all the juice that you're eating also anyway. And we use the seeds, we use everything from the cherry. Nothing is wasted. It's very important for young cooks. You know, you have to make use of the product from everything. Okay, do not waste food. Right? So one thing good about the Thermomix, right? It actually you have a temperature. Okay, they have you can set the temperature to a certain temperature that you want. So if I was doing a puree, a very nice smooth puree, if it's hot, I'll put it at 80 and 90 degrees, and the puree will be very, very smooth. We use a little bit of you know, like agar or carrageenan. It's a kind of seaweed, which jellification process, and iota. Okay, iota is made from seaweed, also carrageenan. All right, so agar have a very high melting point. Okay, you have to melt almost like 80 degrees and above. It melts because if you use gelatin, gelatin melts at your body temperature almost, right? It just will go soft. But agar and lota, they have a more standing power. If you don't have a Thermomix, right, you can actually just use a stove, all right, and just bring it to a boil. It's very important. So I'm going to put this temperature to 80 degrees. Okay, to activate the agar and the yota. All right. So now we've activated the 80 degrees now. So we're going to add the reduction of pot wine, shallots. All right. You're going to blend them. After you add the reduction, okay, I will put down the temperature to 70 to 60 degrees. Why? Because if you put it now, you have the eggs. Okay, eggs will coagulate at about 72 or 73 degrees. It becomes very hard, right? So you have to bring down the temperature and the liver also. So you don't want them to cook now. Okay, you just want them to, like, you know, just pretty warm and add into the mixture. So you add in the liver. And then next, you're going to add the butter, right? As you can see, the butter, the liver, and the eggs are all at the same temperature. It's very important. So they emulsify, all right? So lastly, in a classic terrine or parfait, okay, you add the eggs at the very last time because you don't want too much air into it. You can see the color is still very light because it's not overcooked. Okay, if darker in this means the liver is cooked already. This is the modern way, right? So instead of putting them in a mold, in a block like this, so you're going to pour them into a semicircle. So here we have the fresh cherries. Okay, we have some brioche. We have some sea salt, and of course we have our homemade cherries. Okay, so what we did is once because it's still frozen, so you will put it in the chiller. All right, you defrost them maybe for 30 minutes, and then you take out the toothpick, and then you add in the cherry stems. So as I was saying earlier, we don't throw away anything. So now we're going to add in our homemade cherries. So here you have it. It's the foie gras terrine.